What's up, my G's, and welcome back to my Dragon Quest journey, the series where I explore the worlds and stories of the Dragon Quest franchise. In today's video, we will be exploring my favorite Dragon Quest game of the series so far, Dragon Quest IV Chapter to the Chosen. I really had a lot of fun playing this game, and I recommend you guys try this one yourselves. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the like button down below, and don't forget to drop a comment. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of my videos. It really helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. With all that said and done, let's jump right in. Dragon Quest IV was originally released in 1990 on the Famicom in Japan. North America followed in 1992 with Dragon Warrior 4 on the NES. It was also remade for PlayStation and Nintendo DS. Like the other games, it was developed by Chunsoft and published by Enix. Akira Toriyama, Koichi Sugiyama, and Yuji Horii all returned in their roles in the game's design. Akira Toriyama with the art designs, Koichi Sugiyama composed the game's music, and Yuji Horii developed the story. This game was different than the first three. Different story, different worlds, and loads of new monsters, and a whole new way to tell the story. This game was split into 5 chapters, each dealing with a different character. In every chapter, you start from the ground up. A different chapter, a different hero, and each with different spells and a different backstory. I loved it, and I feel like this was the best part. It was like I was playing little short RPGs, and that was a different experience for me. Usually RPGs are very long and keep you sucked into the story, but with this one, every chapter felt like a different story, except there were little bits of story that would eventually patch these stories all together. We'll start off with Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Ragnar, McRyan, and the Case of the Missing Children. This chapter starts off with the King of Berlin telling his guards that he's heard reports that several children from Strathvale have come up missing. Among the guards was Ragnar McRyan, who was approached by a lady after the king's announcements. She begs him to bring her child back safely. Ragnar goes into town and finds a lady named Agnes, who is waiting for her husband Angus to return. Ragnar makes it to Strathvale, and he finds a man who seemed to have his mind turned into the mind of a child. Ragnar heads back to Agnes, and she accompanies Ragnar back to Strathvale to visit her husband in jail. She restores Angus back to normal, and Angus reveals the location of a secret playground that only the children know about. Ragnar enters the cave, and a voice leads him to find the Talaria, a pair of enchanted shoes left to lure in the children of Strathvale. Along the way in the cave, he also met a heel slime who wished to become human and joined Ragnar on his adventures. Ragnar tries on the Talaria and is instantly teleported to the mysterious island towers. There he finds the missing children and also Psaro's pawn, who tells Ragnar that he was there to find the hero before he became strong enough to challenge Psaro the Manslayer. After being defeated by Ragnar, Psaro's pawn tells Ragnar that other forces are looking for the hero. Ragnar returns to King Berlin with the children and tells the king that he wishes to find the hero so he can protect him. King Berlin grants his request, and Ragnar McRyan heads out looking for the hero. This chapter was short and simple. We got a little bit of the story, and we were given a hint about the main villain by defeating his minion. We also saved some children and killed lots of monsters on the way. I consider that a job well done. Anyway, let's continue on with the story. Chapter 2. Alena and the Journey to the Tourney. In the Kingdom of Zamoskva, Princess Tsarevna Alena wants to compete in the tournament held in Endor, but is told by her father, the king, that it is forbidden. She was locked up in the castle, but ended up kicking her way out of the castle through the wall in her room, and as she escaped, she was accompanied by Kirill and Borna, who wants to make sure that she is safe. Together they make it to the small village Tabarov, where they learn that the village is being terrorized by a monster. Every so often, the monster demands a village maiden as a sacrifice. Alena decides to take the maiden's place as a sacrifice and plans to defeat the monster when it comes to claim her. She ends up defeating the monster and freeing the village from its terror. Alena and her 2 guards head off on their journey to Endor and find another town, Vranor. The villagers here tell her that Princess Tsarevna is staying at the inn. Confused, they head into the inn and find the fake princess being kidnapped. The kidnappers get away, and the next day a note is left behind that says that the princess will be returned in exchange for the Armlet of Transmutation. Alena, Kirill, and Borna retrieve the armlet from a cave and free the fake princess, who apologizes for pretending to be the princess. From here, Alena helps to restore a bard's voice with the help of an item called Birdsong Nectar, and eventually they make it to Endor to compete in the tournament. They find out that the king has promised the winner of the tournament his daughter's hand in marriage, but also finds out that the king thinks that it was a mistake. With Alena being a girl, if she won, no one would have to marry his daughter, so Alena is given a shot to fight in the tournament. Alena fights in the tournament alone, and fights her way all the way to the end. They also hear of a fighter called Psaro the Manslayer, who was supposed to fight but ended up not showing up. After winning, Alena and the two guards head back to Zamoskva, where they find the kingdom empty. Everyone has vanished, and Alena sets off on a journey to find out what happened to the people of Zamoskva. Another simple story, but this time it was a little bit longer. We got to play with 3 different characters, each with a different role. Alena is pure attack based, Kiru is the healer, and Borna uses offensive spells. Together we whipped through all of the monsters pretty easily. The tournament was pretty fun too, and my daughter was rooting me on as we swept through all of the opponents, except for the abominable snowman, who was annoying as heck. He was split into 4, and then you had to attack the right one or waste your attack. And being that I only had Alena with no healer, I had to rely on medicinal herbs. And we only had a couple of those. I still got through it though. Anyway, moving on to the next chapter. Chapter 3. Torneko and the Extravagant Excavation. Torneko works in a weapon and armor store to make money to provide for his wife and son. He has a dream to one day open up a store of his own. One day Torneko finishes up work and gets information about a steel strongbox in a cave somewhere. He ventures off to find it. He then goes off on a journey to make enough money to buy himself a shop. He finds himself trapped in a village with an architect, but manages to escape. Torneko makes it into the kingdom of Ballymoro, where the king is ready to start a war with Endor, but the bridge is broken, so he needs the architect to fix it. Torneko finds a man named Finnegan, who was locked inside of a jail cell, and he helps him out by giving him a chimera wing. Torneko finds Finnegan in the town of Lankaba, who lends Torneko his dog. With Finnegan's dog, he is able to free the architect from the fox illusion in Regenhart. The architect fixes the bridge and heads off. Torneko receives a letter from Prince Regan in Ballymoro, and he wants to deliver it to Princess Veronica in Endor. After getting to Endor, Torneko gives the princess the letter, and she tells her father of its contents. The king writes a scroll to give to the king in Ballymoro. He wants his blessing for Prince Regan and Princess Veronica to get married. With this, there will be no need for war. The king of Endor grants Torneko permission to open up a shop in Endor, and after getting the money needed to open up the shop, he moves his family over to Endor. Torneko then receives a large order for 6 broadswords and 6 iron armors, and after completing the order, Torneko uses the money to complete the Transmontane Tunnel. This chapter was pretty simple as well. Torneko has some kind of ability to get loot for most of his fights, which made getting equipment pretty easy. Even collecting the 6 broadswords and 6 iron armors for the king of Endor went pretty smoothly. I didn't have any trouble with any of the monsters, but I did get lost trying to figure out how to escape out of Regenhart for the first time around. Besides that, easy peasy. Time for the next chapter. Chapter 4. Mina and Maya and the Mahabala Mystery. Mina and Maya are twin sisters. Maya is a dancer, and Mina is a fortune teller. They both set off on a journey to avenge their father who was killed by Balzac. After making it to their hometown, they find that their father's disciple still lives in a cave to the west. They find Ujam, their father's disciple, and he joins them after he tells them the location of the Sphere of Silence. From here they make it to Palais de Leon, where the Chancellor has been hiding in his chamber. They head to the east where they find Mammon Mine. In the mine they find some miners who give them a powder keg that they use to make a loud banging noise to scare the Chancellor out of his chamber. The Chancellor leads them to a secret room where they find Balzac. They use the Sphere of Silence to defeat him, and before they are able to kill him, they are interrupted by the Marquise de Leon and imprisoned. There they find the old Chancellor who gives them a boarding pass and tells them to escape to Endor, telling them that they must return to defeat the Marquise. Mina and Maya escape the prison and head out to Endor. So far we have been introduced to a couple characters and learned of their backstories. This is where we start to dig deeper into the story. At this point, I feel like I've played 4 different short RPG games, each taking me to about level 12, and then starting over to start the next story at level 1. It was fun learning their stories, and having different spells and different roles to play with. Mina and Maya were pretty good, with Mina being a hybrid character. Mina was a healer and also did damage with physical attacks, and Maya used offensive type spells. This chapter took me about as long as chapter 2, and these 2 quickly became favorites of mine. One more chapter, let's move on. Chapter 5. The Chosen. This chapter starts off in the hometown of the hero. The town is attacked by monsters. The hero is hidden in a secret room, and Eliza, the hero's friend, transforms into a copy of the hero and sacrifices her life so that the monsters think that they killed the hero. After the monsters leave, the hero heads to Casablanca, where the hero meets with the king. The king is looking for warriors to fight against Estark because he thinks that the hero has been killed. Estark is the lord of the monsters and used the secrets of evolution to become the ultimate life form, just like Psaro was trying to do, but Estark was sealed away by the Zenith dragon. The hero heads off and makes it to Endor, where he meets up with Mina and Maya. Together they all head out and end up meeting a young man by the name of Hank Hoffman Jr., who helps them cross the desert with the help of his horse and wagon. At the next town of Porthtrono, they find out that the Pharaoh's beacon has been taken over by monsters and changed the light that usually shines there into an evil light. Ships cannot sail by without sinking. There they find Torneko, who has been trying to relight the beacon, but the monsters were too strong for him. He asked the heroes and his friends if they can do it for him. They kill the monsters and restore the light to the beacon. Torneko then joins the hero on his journey and allows them to use a ship. With the ship, the party sails south to Mintos. Once they arrive, Hank Hoffman Jr. leaves the party. Inside of the inn, the party runs into Kiro and Borna. We find out that Kiro was sick and Alena went off to find the antidote. Borna joins the party and they go out to find Alena and the antidote. After finding Alena and the antidote, the party heads back over to Mintos to heal Kiro. And Alena tells the hero that she is searching for Psaro the Manslayer, the same person that the hero is looking for. They decide to join up together, and the party has grown even more. At this point, you have access to all of the items you had before from their own chapters, all in one big party, and every character joins at the same level that you left them. Only one more character to add to the party. Ragnar McRyan, our soldier from the first chapter. The hero and the rest of the party all end up at the hometown of Mina and Maya. From here, after getting the magic key from their father's secret lab, they head towards Palais de Leon, where they promise to defeat the Marquise. They find Ragnar at the hidden passage where Mina and Maya fought Balzac. Ragnar notices that you are the hero, and Ragnar holds off the guards while the hero takes on the Marquise. After defeating the Marquise, the Chancellor tells the hero that Balzac has taken over Zamoskva. The party heads over to Zamoskva and defeats Balzac once again, and collects the treasures there. The hero and the party collect the Zenithian helmet from the King of Camelot. From here they make it over to Themyscira, where they find the Zenith shield. After Themyscira, they make it to a cave north of Minikin's dominion, where they find the Zenithian armor. The only piece of the set missing is the sword. A lot of traveling, and a lot of little bits of world building that eventually leads the party to Rosehill. Inside of Rosehill, they find that there is a tower that holds a young elf girl who cries ruby tears. Rose is the lover of Psaro the Manslayer, and he hates humans because the humans are always after Rose for her tears. A slime here in the castle tells the hero of the royal crypt where they find the Mod Rod. They use the Mod Rod to transform into monsters and attend the monster meeting with Psaro the Manslayer, who informs the party in disguise that the miners in Mammon Mines found the crypt of the Lord of the Underworld, Estark. After hearing this information, the hero heads over to Estark's crypt and they make their way to the cave to find Estark. After a real long fight, Estark is finally defeated, and we see Psaro receiving some news from his minion that Rose has been taken by humans, and Psaro immediately goes to take care of that problem. We find out later that Rose has been killed. He also now knows that the hero is alive and well, and was the one who defeated Estark. The hero finds a gas canister in Estark's crypt, and they take that canister to the inventor in Riverton, who gives them a hot air balloon. Now airborne, the hero and his party fly over the mountains to reach El Farado, an elf town at the foot of the World Tree. The hero hears a voice coming from the tree. The hero finds Oriphilia, an angel who somehow has fallen from Zenithia. He also finds the Zenithian sword with the help from Oriphilia. She wants the hero to help her get back up to Zenithia. Oriphilia leads the hero to the Tower of Heaven, where they find their way up to Zenithia. In Zenithia, the hero meets with the Zenith Dragon, who powers the hero up with his power. Suddenly, a dark energy pierces through the clouds, and we learn that Psaro must have finished the secret to evolution. After traveling to the cave in Aderia, the hero makes it to Heaven's Haven, where he fights 4 bosses to breach the barriers protecting Psaro's castle. After defeating all 4 bosses and getting rid of the barriers, the hero challenges Psaro, and after a long fight and many different transformations, the hero finally defeats Psaro the Manslayer. This game was really fun to play, starting from level 1 after every chapter made the beginning of the game really interesting. It made me wonder what everyone's part in the story was. I felt like they all had to meet up eventually, and when they finally did, I felt like I completed Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh! Each character has a different role, from healers and offensive magic users to soldiers and hybrid roles. The graphics in the DS version were pretty good as well, and they even added some 3D-ish elements to the world. The dungeons were fun, and there were even some times where the monsters got the better of me. Putting the whole party to sleep and forcing me to sit there and watch myself die was pretty annoying, but that made me be even more careful when I entered the dungeon. The story was pretty good, and the world was big with lots of different places to explore. Even the last fight with Psaro the Manslayer was pretty cool. He had 7 different forms, each stronger than the last, and they all had pretty cool animations. His design at first was kind of lackluster for me, because it was just a copy of X-Star, just a different color. Eventually, after all of his transformations, the design got better. It kind of reminded me of a mutated Imperfect Cell from Dragon Ball Z. The other monster design was great as well, and a lot more detailed than the first 3 games. All in all, this game was way more fun to me than the other 3, but I guess that's just mainly because I really liked how the first couple chapters played, and I think that was the best part for me. At first I just wanted to hurry up and get through the game so that I can start Dragon Quest V after watching Dragon Quest Your Story. After playing it, I realized how much I liked it and forgot all about Dragon Quest V. After this video, Dragon Quest V is the next game I'm gonna play. And I'm still pretty excited to jump into that one. I hope you guys will continue to join me on my journey into the worlds and stories of the Dragon Quest franchise, and I'll see you next time with the next Dragon Quest video. Peace out, my G's.